Hello, my wonderful Biafran brothers and sisters. So, this one on another different message entirely apart from what I'll be posting today. This is a very clear indication that the Biafra is always moving at the right direction. I don't know what you think or I don't know how you see it, but to me, or to the best of my knowledge, the Biafran is very yet to come. And it's going to happen soon because the release of Mazinam the Kano and whatever that is accompanies it is very, very sacrosanct to the movement of Biafra or to the agitation of Biafran people. Anyway, this message that you're about to watch now, a lot of wisdom has been attached to it. And there are a lot of things that have been said or been about to say it. But the most important thing there is what are the very topic of this very particular message. It also lies on the head that carries the crown, which is Mazinam the Kano. And also you can hear the voice of Simon Ekpa, who is the Prime Minister of a Biafran Republic government in exile all the way in Finland. Well, it's left for you to choose, according to my people. I say, Waranyagi, but I don't want Christmas. Just use your eye to do Christmas for your own self, or your ear, as you may like to choose it. But whichever way it is, just help me like this message, share it, comment on it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos that's coming your way. Remember, I still remain your one and only Amanda is reporting live from the platform of Okute Daily Talk, where we speak to you the undiluted truth about the Biafran nations, about the Nigerian nation, about the African at large, and also the world, who is always the sole contributor or whatever they think about the Biafran nation. Well, my wonderful people, it's not good I talk too much because this is a clear message that comes to you. According to my people, they said, Ihe agbanaka ejighị enyo were ele ya, the things you wear for hand, no matter how far it is, you don't need mirror to see it. So that is how this message look like. So please, digest it to your own best of understanding or the best of your knowledge, according to Englishman interpreting. So do it and let me know what you think at the comment section. I still remain your one and only. And remember, my channel is where we hear the undiluted truth about everything that got to do with Biafra, with the Nigerian government, with the issue of Mazenam Kano and the movement of autopilot all the way from Finland. Well, let me leave you here. Watch this message, like it, comment on it, keep subscribing to my channel. Subscription is free of charge. No one is going to ask any money from you. Please remember our campaign is still going on. That campaign of Mazinam Kano and also the campaign of Biafrans. The slogan still remains hashtag Biafran to the world, hashtag Biafran to the moon, and hashtag all hail Biafra and hashtag on the mandate of Mazinam Kano, Simon Ekpa, and all the fallen heroes, both past and present. We all shall stand. No much time to tell time. So let us go into the news and let me know what you think. At the end of this video, you will see my voice again because I will always lay my voice on every news that got to do with Biafrans. As long as Biafra is concerned, count me in. Nigeria is concerned, please exclude my name because I will not be involved in a country that have a forger as their president. This one is wonders that never end. Have it as you may like to call it. Anyway, let me sign out from here until we meet again. Bye for now.
Abandon every vestige of greed, envy, and jealousy. That's your I too know brain. I know everything. Put it to one side for the next hour or two.
Sorry, excuse me. Patiently join us.
Get your pen and paper ready. Abandon every vestige of greed, envy, and jealousy. That's your no brain. I know everything. Put it to one side for the next hour or two. Get your pen and paper ready. Abandon every vestige of greed, envy, and jealousy. That's your I too know brain. I know everything. Put it to one side for the next hour or two. Get your pen and paper ready. Abandon every vestige of greed, envy, and jealousy. That's your I too know brain. I know everything. Put it to one side for the next hour or two. Get your pen and paper ready. We are. Abandon every vestige of greed, envy, and jealousy. We are back once again. They're doing all that's your I too know brain. I know everything to stop us from spreading this very gospel of redemption. But we are back here live and direct once again, and I believe that all our platforms are working. There are those that have taken it upon themselves to inform me each time that there is a wobble. I need to know that all our systems are working very well. I want to know that all our systems are fully operational. Very, very important, please. Our enemies will try all they can to distract us. Please, I do need confirmation that all our systems, that our output from here is working very well. That is what I want to know, please. Very, very critical, please, that I get this confirmation. Is anybody able to confirm with me? Even if yes, we are okay. We are okay. Somebody's saying we are okay. I can see most of the comments. I think it's on Facebook. And Natubugo is listening to us on Twitter via my Twitter handle at Mazin Namdekano. Yes, I don't know if they have fixed it. We have fixed it, of course, here. Yes, they can now hear me. It is now working. Thank you very much. Ndubisi, thank you very much. All of you. Donatil Sunkem, thank you very, very much. Chieme Okoro said, yes, that it is now working. It is now working. So we are live and we are direct. Once again, it is very clear. And the whole world. They don't want me to preach this gospel because they know what it contains. I call it the end of discussion. After this very program this evening, people will begin to have a more deeper appreciation of the enormity of the task that is before us and what we are doing to rectify the uselessness that Nigeria has become. We must preach. First of all, this very evening, morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are, there is no country, nation, or geopolitical space on this earth where a black man is in control of his life, talk less of his destiny. I want you to write this thing I'm saying down, please. Very, very critical. You write it down because what we are going to do, as always, is to try to build a very necessary preamble, lay the foundation upon which we are going to rest our lecture this very evening, this very gospel from heaven. I repeat, and I'm saying there is no country or nation on this very earth where a black man is in control of his life, talk less of his destiny. I know some of you may mention Barack Obama, that he was the president of the USA, but during Obama's reign in the USA, black people were more disadvantaged than at any time in US history. Had Obama's reign in America, or should I say his presidency, been a success, you wouldn't have issues like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter because racist, white police people in America were slaughtering blacks at will. That is after a black man had become the president of the United States of America. Why I'm saying that is for you to grasp the essence of the point that I'm trying to make. That there is no country, nation, or geopolitical space on this very earth where a black man is in control of his life. And I'll bring that to the zoo very, very shortly. Sometimes I wonder if God created us, or God made we black people and handed us over as slaves and farm animals to serve other races. That is why anywhere you go around the world, once you're black, you are very close to the dustbin. Do you know they have a caste system in India? Do you know the lowest caste in India are black people? Do you know in Sri Lanka they have a caste system? Do you know that the lowest caste of people, they are black people? Do you know that black people are also suffering in Papua New Guinea? Do you know that they are at the bottom of the pile? I am saying all these things so you understand why these criminals, these vultures, these workers of iniquity are all against Biafra. A simple point I'm trying to make. Because when people are down, you need a force, you need a movement, you need a figure, you need a people to raise everybody up. When Asia was down, it fell upon Japan to lift the whole of Asia. When the Western world was down, it took the grit and the might of the United States of America to grind through the Second World War and still be able to rebuild Europe. Europe was rebuilt with money from the United States of America. Nobody's doubting that. At every period in history, you have always needed a race or a people to stand up and say, or to say enough is enough. It has fallen upon our generation, this very generation of IPOB, and we are saying enough is enough. And of course, and very predictably, we are encountering stiff opposition because the devil doesn't want Biafra to come. The devil doesn't want Biafra to come because the devil enjoys it, because black lives do not matter. Because all over the world, there is no place, there is no country where a black man is in control, or black people for that matter, man and woman, even black dog is in control of their lives. I want you to understand that challenging this very prevailing orthodoxy is the reason why we have so many people within and without against this very promise of God. The same thing happened to Israel. Nobody wanted the Jews to have their own homeland. Nobody wanted them to have it. Even before time, even to leave Egypt and go, they were complaining of exactly the same thing happening in the zoo, because I don't know, for some inexplicable reason, I'm in a spiritual mood this very week. For some reason, the same thing that happened to Israelites are happening to us. If you go to the northern part of the Zoological Republic, they're complaining. They are everywhere. These Easterners, these Biafrans, these Igbo people, they're everywhere. They own the shops, the businesses, and everything. That is envy and jealousy. We want them to go. We don't want them in our land. The same thing that Pharaoh said. We don't want Israelites in our land. But to allow the Israelites to go was a problem. There's something happening in Nigeria. You are complaining every blessed day, and we are saying allow us to go, and you're saying no. The same biblical scenario being played out in a contraption created by man in Africa in the 21st century. How abominable can that be? I want people to listen very carefully. I am not going to be very fast. I want you to absorb all that I have to say this very day. It's very, very critical you do so. A black person has no pride. The reason why I am throwing this line this evening is because I want you to understand the genesis of your problem. Black people do not have any shame. They have no pride. They have no class. They have no sense of decency. Why am I saying this? I know some people are grumbling already, saying, oh, why he's insulting black people? No, I'm not insulting you. I want you to be able to reason. I want you to reason very, very clearly, please. Do you know why I say you have no shame, black people? If you had any shame at all, there is no way any white man can travel up to 4,000 miles and come to your land and take away your name and give you his own name. Do you want me to repeat what I said? Let me tell you why black people are suffering, why we are the lowest of the low, why anywhere we are in the world, people treat us as if we're trash, basically. It's because we have no regard for ourselves. We have no pride. We have no honor. We have no dignity. Can you tell me why any sensible black person, any sensible human being would call himself a Nigerian? Can somebody please explain that to me? Did you create Nigeria? The answer is no. And now, the other part of the coin is, can you go, the person that came and created Nigeria, can you go to his village and create, let's say, Oduduwa or Hausa in that place? The answer is no. They came to our land. They took away the name Iguacha. They named it Port Harcourt. Some of you are shouting for every day, Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt. And I'm asking you, look at yourselves and what you're doing. Do you think you have any shame in you at all? Because if you had any shame, if you had any honor, you would have done at least what the Indians did. They changed all the names back to what they were before the white man came. And do you think you can go to Liverpool and rename that very beautiful city of Liverpool into anything else from Africa? Do you think the people of Liverpool will even listen to you? They will see you as a madman. Now I'm asking you, why should we in Africa accept it? Somebody will travel for thousands of miles, come into your land and tell you that your ancestors, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather, that they had no history. In one stroke of the pen, your life all of a sudden started in 1960. In 1960, your essence as a human being started. Tell me any sensible country in the world where the president is older than the country itself. And then the sensible question that any right-thinking human being should ask is this: what was my history before the creation of this thing you now say is my history? Simple research we do not do. Because had black people been engaged in very rigorous research, they would have a sense of pride and dignity. Even Native American Indians, they have dignity and pride. Europeans wanted to convert them to slaves, to use them in their farms. And the Indians, the native Indians in America said no. You know what they used to do? When the white man turns his back, the Indian will kill him. He may die in the process, he doesn't care. He would kill him. That way they realized that enslaving Indians or turning them into farm animals is not possible. And they went to Africa. In Africa, when they came, Africans only didn't serve them. Africans were willing to sell their relatives in order to please the white man. Because we have no shame and we have no pride. Why am I saying all of these things? Look at the case of Nigeria today. Somebody will come out and say that we are going to kill a particular set of people because they do not believe in what a white man created in Africa. In essence, that is what Lai Mohammed and the bandit sheikh is saying. The reason why we would not negotiate with IPOB is because they do not recognize the legitimacy of Nigeria to exist. Without looking at the reason why. That is the thing about black people. They never look at the reason. Nobody has ever bothered to sit down and say, why is IPOB insisting that things cannot continue the way they are? Of course, I'm very happy that some of them have now come around. They're beginning to reason like human beings. They are now beginning to reason like human beings. I don't know why a black man has no pride. If you have a pride in you as a black person, you cannot open your mouth and call you Iguacha Port Harcourt. You cannot open your mouth and say Nigeria is my country. It shows you do not value yourself. You don't even trust yourself. You don't even trust your ancestors. You don't even trust God that made you the way you are. You have no shame inside you. That is why white people can come to Africa and draw our boundaries for us. Give us names they want us to bear. Even those of you who are in Christendom, when during baptism, you see how clever they are. During baptism, they tell you to throw away your old name. You shouldn't answer Angoreka, don't answer Ifeinwe, don't answer Chibuzo. It's not good. Why don't you answer Raphael or answer Isabella? That has no meaning. I want to point out instances as to why people out of ignorance and foolishness defend one Nigeria. Anybody defending one Nigeria is an ignorant fool. He's a fool and is going to remain a fool forever. It means you are daft, you're hopeless, and you're very stupid. You have no brain. Had Nigeria been created by people coming together, as most people had campaigned for or agitated for many years ago, but lacked the balls to execute it. Had the likes of Shoyinka and Tinubu insisted that what we want is a and Abakoba, of course, sovereign national conference. So no matter what the Janjaweed is doing, no matter what Britain is doing, you say no, we want sovereign national conference, and then after that a referendum. But today you have pride. People wonder why we are the way we are. We are the way we are because Biafra was the first African country, second African country to taste freedom, genuine freedom, not flag independence, not neo-colonialism, no, genuine freedom for 3 years. The children they gave birth to is carrying on from where their father stopped. Because you know why? We are Biafrans, and in us there is a lot of pride. A lot of pride. I have told this story so many times, and I'm sure that even some people may be bored of hearing it, but I will say it once again. One of the things that formed my outlook on life was Alex Haley's book I read, Roots. I think I was a 17-year-old when I read Roots. I read Roots, and a very brilliant book, I must say. There's an adaptation of it. I think it's a movie now as well. So some of you who are not taken to reading very voluminous text, you can go and avail yourself of the cinematic interpretation of that very brilliant book. Roots, R-O-O-T, Roots, R-O-O-T-S, Alex Haley. In that very book, that was why when anytime or the 2 previous occasions I went to America, I had to go to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. From there, I drove, or somebody drove me. Uche drove me for, what's his name? What's his name again? I've forgotten his name. I don't know if it's old age that is coming. I keep forgetting things these days. I've forgotten his name, but it will come to me. He drove me for 5 hours. He's based there in Atlanta. We went to a place called Savannah. Because when I got into Georgia, you see, I said to them that I want to go and see that very place that an Igbo man said he will not be a slave to a white man. I went there and I prayed. At that very place, it's called Savannah. And the woman that has the house, that her garden is actually on the very spot at the bank of this very creek where they drowned themselves. She was enthralled. She said, yeah, people come around here to have a look. We were there to pray. You see, at that very spot was when white people realized who we are. That these people are a very, very proud race and very stubborn. You see, they brought them all the way from Onitsha. In fact, basically in Obaro, they took them from Obaro and traveled all the way to US, men, women, and children. And when they inquired what they are there for, why they bound them in chains and brought them all the way to America, the white man said they are going to be sold as slaves to work in the farm to become somebody else's property. And they said, instead of me to become a fellow human being's property, I would rather die. Do you know the reason why this part of Black history is not given due prominence? Is because it will teach our children who we are, that we are a very proud race. That is why people must understand when they look at Biafra IPOB agitation, they must understand where we are coming from. You may, if you are another race, you may be comfortable with being a slave. That is your business. But where we come from, in the land, the original land of the free, where God Almighty in heaven is the king. Biafra was a kingdom where only God in heaven is the king. That all men are born equal before God and fellow men. We gave the world democracy. Biafra gave the world democracy before the Greeks came. Don't take it from me, take it from the white people teaching it in the universities. In Argentina, that is what they teach. It's a fact. That is why they don't want Biafra to come, because you are the light of the black race. That is why Janjaweed can't understand us, because their reasoning is too low and is too poor. They know nothing. They know absolutely nothing. They don't know. When you see us agitate for Biafra, you kill us, you don't know what is driving us. Do you think we are doing this thing out of our own? What we are doing is of the spirit. Unless you are in the spirit, you can't understand it. If you're a zoo animal, you cannot understand the Biafran. You can never do. Never in your life. You are in a country where somebody created for you. 1960 Nigeria won independence. In your life started in 1960, and every day you wake up as a grown-up person, lettered and educated, you don't ask yourself, what is the history of my grandfather? You don't ask, because you are black, and every nonsense that comes to you, you accept. Ask yourself why we go and protest. You kill us, we go and protest. You kill us, we keep going. You kill us, we keep going. Have you ever wondered why? Do you think that what we are doing, that we even know what we are doing? No, we don't. What is driving us? What is driving our essence is something beyond the comprehension of a black person in Africa. You can't understand it. That is why Biafra is an enigma. Only the intelligent can. Only the intelligent who are in the spirit can. And because Biafra is down, that is why black people are suffering all over the world. And like do your envy all you like. Be jealous. So unless Biafra is free, you can never be free. All of you together. So it is in the best interest of everybody to join hands together, that we may liberate ourselves. Now, let me ask you this very simple question. All their years of restructuring debate, all their years of sovereign national conference, all their years of talking for constitutional change, has anything happened? No. Ask yourself, why is it now that everybody is talking about change, that something must give? Had IPOB crawled back into its shell at the height of the persecution, do you think that we would have given people the courage to say what they're saying today? People are saying what they are saying because they know that the zoo was unable to suppress IPOB. Anybody talking anywhere in Nigeria is because of IPOB. Anybody anywhere standing up and shouting, it is because of IPOB. Do you know why? Because that's how God intended it. You see that race of people from the east, from Igodomigodo all the way to Ambazonia, people of the east. You see that very little place that Islam could not come into. You see that very place? Do you know that it was done for a purpose? Do you know that the time Islam was making it to the west coast of Africa, every country in West Africa, Islam, Quran dipped, or they dipped Quran in the Atlantic. Only the east. Have you, people, I don't know, have you ever sat down to ask yourself why? There is Islam everywhere else, but not in the East. Because you don't know. You see, because Elohim never wanted it. God never wanted it. The reason why God allowed white man to bring his New Testament into our land is because he wanted to teach us a lesson. We are doing very horrible things at our temple in Harachubu. Very horrible things. And God was upset. The same thing that happened to the temple in Jerusalem was what happened to us. But after 2,000 years, Israel rediscovered itself. And when Israel was about to be established, they said, no, don't go into armed struggle. Don't do this. Keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. And a very brave man, Menachem Begin, of Likud Party, the founder of Likud Party in Israel, Menachem Begin, I think at one time was also the head of Mossad, was the prime minister. Courageous and brave man, loved by God and men, only hated by the enemies of God. He said, to hell with everybody. Do you know that it was Britain that was manning, they gave them what is called the Palestine Mandate, because by then they shared the whole world amongst themselves. They divided everything, all the colonial powers, they shared the world amongst themselves. Britain also got Israel. The same way Britain got the zoo with Biafrans in it, their own was Palestine, the Holy Land of Israel. And they asked Britain to leave, that the children of God, that God said the time has come for his children to return. Britain said no. Go and read your history books. Britain said no, they're not going anywhere. Do you know what Menachem Begin did? They used bomb and dynamite to blow the British away from the land of Israel. And in the end, Israel was restored. That is the reason why I love the Bible so much. When they say that the kingdom of God suffered violence, and only the violent can take it, and with force. If you restudy the history of Israel, it's very clear. When Israel was begging, oh, you're killing, you know what that thing we used to do? You're killing us here. Nobody will listen. They were slaughtering Jews all over the world, slaughtering them for nearly 2,000 years. Nobody did anything. Until one day, European Jews said, you know, they are going to kill us anyway. So we might as well put our life to a very good use while we still have it. We are going to have a state of Israel. And it happened. People said it wouldn't happen, but it happened. The same way we are going to have Biafra. It doesn't matter what you say. We have the lives to commit into it. And in the end, it will come. Because nobody can come from a place called Nigeria. Only if you are an animal. Only if you are a compound fool. Only if you are a degenerate idiot. Only if you don't have any brain. I'll keep asking you, okay, let us take your family now, for example. All of us will have our own homes. Is that not correct? You have your wife, you have your children, and all the rest of it. And maybe some of you, as you're listening to this very broadcast this evening, you're with your family and you're eating and dining. Is that correct? Oh, how about if I walk into where you're eating now? It doesn't matter where it is. Let's say I walk into a family at Ijebode this evening and say, I am a Biafran. And by the way, I want you to change your name. This night, the name of this village. No, in fact, Ijebode, I want you to change it. And I want you to call it Ijebode New Mbise. Are you following? What will you do to me? Even Janjaweed, if I were to go to Sokoto, doesn't belong to them. And I'm very happy today. There's a clip I will play, not audio I will play for you to hear. And I'm sure our media will go and get it and spread it everywhere. When Mailafia was talking, Dr. Mailafia was talking on channels, that's Janjaweed TV station. He is apart from we in IPOB, he is the only person I've heard use the word, the Habe Hausers. Today, I knew that the man, he reads his books, he's intelligent. When I mentioned the Habe monarchy, some of you don't know what it means. When I mentioned the Hausa, their name was the Habe, H-A-B-E, the Habe monarchies of the Hausa kingdoms. None of you knew what I was talking about. But today, my Lafia, I heard him say it. I ain't going to be honest, we are learned. I'm being honest with you. But we shall get to that later. We must change the way we reason, black people. And if you like it or not, as I warned you, as I not warned, as I explained to you a few days ago, as I explained to you people a few days ago, if you ask Angela Merkel, when they were exasperated with the presidency of Trump because they didn't understand him, they will say, these are European ministers. Oh, listen carefully to how white. Now I understand why white people, they have so much, they make so much progress. A white person, I heard Angela Merkel, the leader of the strongest nation in Europe, Germany. By none, Germany is the strongest nation in Europe. Do you know what she was saying? Oh, we want President Trump to show leadership. He is the leader of the free world. This is the German prime minister saying that another head of state is the leader of the free world, because they understand that if America dies today or is suffering, they know they're all sunk. Do you think an African head of state will do that? You have jazz. Never. Pride and envy won't let them. Jealousy and greed can't allow them. That is why they don't want to give Biafrans credit. They know who we are. They know, as I said to them, how many hours did your protest last at Lekki? Not up to 5 minutes. They vacuum swept all of you inside Black Maria, and the protest is over. Because I did not bring out IPOB. I did not bring out Biafrans in Lagos. Had I given the order, come out for protest, by today, the protest will still be on. It is nobody's fault. That is how God made us. It is not, I am not bigoted. It is not about ethnic jingoism. It is not about a sense of racism. That is all rubbish. But the creation as we know it started in my land. Creation, God Almighty in heaven, chose Biafra land as the center of this very earth. 0 longitude and 0 latitude. Go and check your geography textbooks. 0 latitude and 0 longitude, where sunlight meets darkness. The center of this very earth is in Biafra land. That is why Britain created Greenwich Mean Time, moved it 1 hour to the left. Who doesn't know that? That is why they're afraid of us. That is why they cannot get any conviction in any court in the world. That is why they're even afraid of us, of trying us in their own courts. That is the reason why we are as formidable as we are. But the devil will try. The Gwensu will try, as they did against the emergence of the glorious state of Israel. They will try, but they will fail in the end, because we represent the light. Do you know that darkness has no power? You see darkness. You see, darkness has nothing feeding it. I want you to understand and relate this very analogy to the zoo called Nigeria. You see darkness, or darkness. You know when NEPA takes light, there is darkness everywhere. That darkness has no power. Darkness is only acting because there is no light. Once light comes, it disappears. And it can never come. As long as that light is on, darkness will never come close. Never, ever, ever. It can never come close. Do a simple experiment. Because you see, darkness, you know, when you're going out at night and there is no light, there is darkness everywhere, is because there is darkness in nature. Nothing is fueling it. There is no generator generating darkness. No, it's there, just there. Like Lucifer. Once, you see, for you to defeat darkness, you need to generate electricity or light. And to generate light takes energy. You must do something. You can't keep quiet. You must do something. If you don't do something, you continue to live in darkness. So that time you put the battery inside your torch and you on the torch, what happens? Darkness along that line flees. It can never come as long as your light is on. As long as your light bulb is on, there is no way darkness can come. But darkness, it doesn't cause darkness anything. Like the Fulani Janjaweed, it doesn't cause them anything to destroy. But to overpower them, you must come together. There must be synergy, there must be energy, there must be momentum. You must have that thrust. By thrust, I mean T-H-R-U-S-T, not T-R-U-S-T. Now you understand me, don't you? Now you understand me, don't you? I insult black people because I want them to develop some sense. Begging them doesn't work. This is black. But how can you explain to somebody who is a PhD holder, who is a professor? A professor will open his mouth and call his land Port Harcourt. You're a professor of maybe nuclear science. That means you have no shame and you have no pride. We all mask our collective impotence. You know, blacks are very impotent. Especially when you go onto Facebook and see the wish when we are arguing about separation and freedom many years ago, some idiots are talking rubbish. Nigeria, one Nigeria, patriotic Nigerian. Look at the idiot. Patriotic who? You mean patriotic product of Frederick Lugard? Nobody is a Nigerian. You dimwits, you morons. No human being is a Nigerian. That is how daft you people are. The sooner you search for salvation under your ethnic identity or nationality, the better for you. Shameless people. Who is a Nigerian? Let me ask you. Who? Is it the one from Mali with AK-47 somewhere in Mina, raping and killing people? People without a collection of people without honor or shame. God have mercy on your ignorance and the wretchedness of it. We love to mask our collective impotence by seeking solace in English language. That's most of us don't even know. You see one idiot writing, you writing grammar. Ask him to explain that grammar. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's writing. But because the word sounds sweet, just like when we learned the phrase circumstances beyond my control. Anything you ask somebody who says circumstances beyond my control, he doesn't know that it sounds nice in the ear. So you say circumstances beyond, even out of context they use it. That is what happens to all these idiotic intellectual grammarians on Facebook writing rubbish. Now listen. Imagine how powerless we have been for years to make minor, what I would even call insignificant change like ordinary restructuring. Ask yourself this question. What would it cost Fulani to restructure? Nothing. No, it doesn't. Nothing. Those championing restructuring did not say let's break Nigeria. No. They said let's make things better. Somebody somewhere said no. Go through your senators. Because they know they have the numerical strength to frustrate whatever motion or bill that you have on the floor of both the House of Reps and of the Senate. And somebody who is so blatantly disadvantaged will rise up in the morning and tell you he's a proud Nigerian. I want to demolish these intellectual Lilliputs. Let me put it that way. They're minions. They are nothing. They hide under grammar. They spend 4 days. They go to the dictionary, cramming every rubbish. They come and they write junk. Because they are inferior. Because, you see, an Englishman speaks English. And, they are so inferior that you have to write. You want to aspire to write like an Englishman so you can perhaps acquire some of the aura of an English person, so that your peers can respect you. But you are making an absolutely idiotic fool of yourself. As most of you may know, I have been to many countries around the world. There are people who write and speak their language with every pride. Every pride. You come and you speak, they say, oh, you speak English? You say, yeah, okay. Why don't you learn my language? Oh, dear. Simple change, something as minor as let us go back to the regions that was working. Fulani said no. Only one group, and they're a minority. A bunch of Janjak, a minority. They are not up to 20 million. Not up to 20 million. It's so ridiculous. I thank God that the houses have woken up after many years of. Sometimes, if you're IPOB, you pat yourself on the back. You have changed so much. I'm telling you that you have changed the thinking and the reasoning capacity of most people in that damnable zoological republic. And we must continue. We're not going to stop. Imagine how are you hearing of sovereign national conference anymore? That one is dead, though. simple, minor, even insignificant change, like restructuring the political landscape, they said no. Because you're a black man, you don't have the power to do anything. This UG. Something that should help move a country forward, some idiots in the same country, on the contrary, some of the so-called agitators for restructuring, you know what they're waiting for? They're waiting for Britain to say something. Not to say, but to do something. They want Britain to pick up the phone, the Prime Minister of Britain, US President, then call whoever is in Asorok and say, now it's time for restructuring. And do you know what they got that nonsense from? It was during Abacha's time. None of you were able to remove Abacha. He was a very deadly dictator, a very brutal one for that matter. Abacha was killing left, right, and center. Yet in Kano, there is Sani Abacha Stadium. Somebody who is acknowledged to be a mass murderer. The same thing they did with the regime, the murderous regime of Abacha, is what they are doing with Fulani headsmen, Mietiala, killers and murderers. They always defend their own. And somebody was, I remember in those days, they said their zoo national team, Green Eagles, were going to play as this Super Eagle. I don't know what eagle they are now. Or maybe Dark Eagle or White Eagle, I don't know. That they were going to play a football match in Kano at a place called Sani Abacha Stadium. And I remember the white commentator saying, come on, Sani Abacha Stadium? Was that not the dictator? Hey, Shame left everybody and was doing me. You hear it happen now, them left everybody and was holding me. Now you understand it, don't you? The same way they are defending. Is it not Buhari, the dead one, or the real Buhari? When that dead Buhari was, do you remember when Buhari said that Abacha did not loot any money? Have you all forgotten? One Nigerians. You see the way you reason? That is why I feel sorry for all of you. You one Nigerians. Your stupidity cannot be weighed on a scale. Your idiocy is legendary. I'm telling you. Sani Abacha Stadium. And they said Abacha did not steal anything. Hiding under English. It's common restructuring you cannot do. Ordinary, everybody agrees it may help. You cannot do it because you're waiting for a white EU, white America, white Canada, white everywhere to do it for you. Because it was America that killed Abacha, not you. You are impotent and you're powerless. And it wasn't Africans that got independence for Africa. It was the United States of America warning Britain and the whole of Europe to get away from Africa. That was what happened right after the Second World War. Anybody telling you that they fought and they got their flag independence is a liar and is a deceiver. Do you understand? I think it was Harry Truman that said to Europe, oh, enough of that rubbish, that useless colony you have in Africa. Get out! And they went out. The same thing happened during the Suez Canal crisis. Some of you may not know because you may be too young or you are ahistorical because you don't read books. There was a very brave, young military officer in Egypt called Gamal Abdel Nasser. And he killed, what's his name again? He killed the very moderate Egyptian prime minister, or they said he was killed by the what's it called, Islamic Brotherhood. He assumed power. Britain left Britain. Oh. They want to come to Africa to be collecting toll gate, checkpoint. They set up checkpoint as Suez because it's far more easier, like the Panama, to use the Mediterranean Sea to cross through the Suez Canal into the Arabian Gulf. Is it a Gulf of Eden or is it Arabian Gulf? One of the two. The Arabian Gulf. As they call it, Gulf of Eden. Because that way the ships, rather than going through South Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, and coming back up again via the Indian Ocean, a very long journey, you cut that journey short by taking a shortcut. Britain built a toll gate in Africa. When NASA came in, NASA said, you cannot come here and be collecting money, tax on my father's land. You have to go. Britain said no. NASA took it over by force. I think it was Prime Minister Eden in England, in Britain, that sent British expeditionary force to go and retake Suez Canal that doesn't belong to Britain by force. The Suez Canal Company. They went into Suez Canal after 2 or 3 days. Eden got a phone call from the US president in no uncertain terms, told him to get away from there, it's not yours. That was how Britain withdrew. Because Britain listened to USA. Because USA take care of British interest as well. Now, do you understand how they play this politics? Do you understand it? In your own land, you cannot even bring about a simple change. Ordinary restructuring, not even freedom. Ordinary restructuring you cannot do. Always blowing useless, senseless grammar that has no meaning. After blowing grammar, there's no light, no hospital, no good roads. After blowing grammar and putting on tie in the middle of the afternoon, also and I was speaking grammar all the time, and nothing is happening. Intellectuals everywhere. We mask our collective impotence by seeking solace in English language we don't even understand, most of us. Are always waiting for white people. We are not going to wait anymore. We are better off dead now. Okay, what are we doing with life? This stupid, useless life. A life where somebody can come from Mali with AK-47 and go to Zombe and decide to rape a grandmother. After raping the grandmother, you say they are misunderstood. You misunderstood them. They are my brothers. According to Sheikh Gumi, is that the type of country you want me to be in? Are you mad? Are you sure you're well? Are you sure you are well? Are you sure you are well? Intellectuals everywhere. But now they have come back to that. Most of them have come back to their senses. We need to get off our lazy asses to make lives better for ourselves by seeking freedom for everybody. I said mass overdose of freedom. Freedom is like vitamin C. In actual fact, it has no overdose. More freedom is better for everybody. And that is the freedom that we are seeking for everybody, for every dick, every tongue, everybody must be free. Everybody must be free. They caged you in the zoo, treating you like animal, the same way they treated your fathers, they're treating you, and you take it. All you do is you complain, you mourn, and you go back and you sleep. Not in IPOB, we don't do that rubbish. Look at how successive governments in Nigeria adopted what I call the pauperization. I want to get this so people can understand. You know, when you turn somebody into a pauper, into a very poor, wretched soul, I call it the pauperization philosophy of the Fulani Janjaweed. You know what they do in their feudal system? They become wealthy by impoverishing everybody else. You have to be poor. Only their children will go to school. Only them will have houses in Dubai. The ordinary Hausa man on the street is doing Babial with no hope for his children. But even Fulanis are suffering. It's only the feudal lords, the half-educated, semi-literate feudal lords of the Fulani. They brought in that mentality. Some of you don't know why you don't have light in Nigeria. Sometimes I look at it and I laugh. A country that has coal, abundance of it, you have wall-to-wall sunshine every blessed day. You have tidal waves along the coastal lines. You have dams, you built dams, yes? You have gas. Let me repeat, you can generate electricity through thermal, which is coal, through gas, through wind, through waves, sea waves, through hydroelectricity. All these things are in abundance. Some of you go to China, you see, they even make fake solar panels, and it works. A country of 200 million people cannot even utilize Kainji Dam that they built. A country of 200 million people they bring out gas from the ground. They ship this gas to Europe, to South America, to Asia. Those people, they have 24 hours electricity from the same gas that you're shipping from Ohaji. But people on Ohaji don't have any light. I don't know if I'm making sense, if people can understand what I'm saying. It's a lecture. People in faraway Japan that has nothing, They have light. People in Enugu that has coal under them, as you're working in Enugu, it's all coal under you. They have no electricity. Do you see how stupid black people are? You know, sometimes, to be honest, if you sit down and begin to ponder how useless black people are, you will go outside and you commit suicide. I'm telling you the truth. It's a simple question. How come I produce crude oil from the... No, you don't produce. God gave us crude oil. You export the crude oil in one barrel that contains everything from kerosene to paraffin to engine oil to plastic, everything. And then you only import petrol that used to drive your car and diesel. Whereas you have refineries in your country. Let me be very honest. It's not pulverization. Pulverization is to make something disappear. That's to pulverize. Pulverize is to make something disappear, not pulverization. To impoverish somebody. Impoverishment. That is the philosophy of the Fulani. That's what they brought into Nigeria. So don't you know that? If they give you 24 hours electricity, which they can, all those girls they are taking to Dubai will not be cheap anymore because they'll have their own jobs, they'll have their own cars, they'll have their own businesses, they'll have their own mansion. That time you have to start buying flour and chocolate and behaving very well. No, that's the difference. You know, abroad, when you want to talk to a woman, you have to buy chocolate. You first start by begging. Can we eat together? That's why you may wait for 2 or 3 months to get reply. Then after that, you start to buy chocolate. You will know every brand of chocolate. You may buy one, you say, I don't want the one with milk inside it. I want original chocolate, the dark one that is 99% cocoa. You guys start looking for that one as well. Then after that one, you go into the business of buying flour. By the time you finish buying flour and chocolate and going out for dinner, you will know that khaki and leather are not the same. They don't want to go through that process in Africa. So what do? They impoverish everybody. They make the women desperate, looking for somebody to do their hair for them, to buy lipstick, to buy ordinary sanitary towel. Some of them don't have. Then now that makes them very cheap. Now do you see why they're doing it? Why is it? Why do you think they stopped you from the closed door? Industries were there before. You see, let me tell you, there is something people don't understand about Nigeria and people ruling you. I feel sorry for you people, honestly, because you are not educated. I'm sorry to say. You people are not educated. Nigerians don't know the meaning of education. Do you know there were factories before in Aba making glass? Today imported from China. There's a glass factory in Aba. Do you know there is a textile mill in Aba where they weave cloth? Do you know that in Aba they used to make soap and detergent? Today imported from China. Somebody sat down in Lagos as a government minister and head of state and destroyed all these businesses. The same person is telling you about one Nigeria. I want you took me out of my job that I was doing. That was the reason why PZ, Patterson Sokonis in Abade left. That was the reason why Lever Brothers left. That is the reason why Leventis left. Some of you may remember Leonard Shoes in Aba, even in Omaham. You may remember Bata Shoes in Aba, even in Omaham. In Omaham, we had ceramics. We had Golden Guinea. Uncles were working there. Aunties were working there. Economy was very good. Nobody was complaining. Nobody was begging. All of a sudden, one single day, one idiot from Abuja and Lagos decided, let's make their life difficult. Ceramics was shut down. Golden Guinea has shut down. Olon Nampam plantation shut down. Glass factory in Aba is no longer working. And you know, let me tell you how evil they are. They come back and say, all these unemployed youths. But where the youths are supposed to be working, you as a greedy, evil, wicked politician, you shut it down. Now, after graduation, where do you want them to work? Because it's common sense. Some of you don't know that Michelin was in Lagos. They used to make tire in Lagos. Michelin was in Lagos. You don't know that? Imagine that these Fulani Janjaweed primitive people had the mindset to say, let's grow the economy. By now, there will be no banditry because people will go to work. By the time you finish work, you get home, and your wife or your girlfriend will handle you very well. You will not have any time. You'll be thinking about the alarm waking you up the next day to go to work. Do you understand? It's still, all of these things I'm saying is not rocket science. It is it's simple common sense. Do you know the white man has it, black people don't? Those that do in the black world are very, very few, insignificant few. As somebody said, these are blood-sucking fools. You got a politician. Our senator from he spoke on the floor of the house. You see that wretched girl at Channels TV. That stupid girl. I don't know what they call that idiot. Trying to, I don't know the village, trying to mimic a white accent. I don't know what her name is. They want to interview the Senator Baribe the other day. They see all these things. Ask the minister, please, minister, the largest textile mill in the whole of Africa, with the exception of South Africa, was in Kaduna. Kaduna, the largest textile mill. It is shut down. There is a car company called Leland Dav. Iveco, IVEC, I think it's an Italian company. They used to assemble their cars. Do you know there was a time, this thing now that Innovation is doing, do you know there was a time that Volkswagen from Germany was assembling their cars in Nigeria? Do you know that Peugeot was assembling their cars in Nigeria? Are all of you aware of it? Now, some of you are too young, you don't know. Then, was anybody complaining of hunger? Was anybody complaining? In those days, all you need to do to be able to, you don't need to buy any bone straight hair. All you need to do is to write a very good letter to somebody you like, and they'll respond. You don't need money to do anything. Money for what? Everybody's feeling very well. These idiots, they never liked it. They don't like it one bit. They want to control you. How Fulani controls you is by making all of you poor. By making you poor, you start to eat each other, to grovel. Even when you're hungry, you start looking for something to eat immediately. That was why they broke NSAS, the first protest and the second one, because all of you are hungry. They made it so. Once a black person is hungry, you can control them anyhow you like. They go to China, they borrow money, they buy Chinese products. Even, I'm not saying don't buy Chinese products because China has the grace already. That's how God blessed them. But the little things you can make in your village, you just make them. They won't allow you to. Somebody, we were in England, somebody said, I'm going home to build a factory. I said to him, good luck. He came back one day and said, do you know that all those machinery, they're still at Apapa Wharf, and now they're rotting away. I can no longer use them. These are the demons you have as your politicians. These are evil people, evil beyond evil. You don't know how much they hate you. We speaking this way, we are the ones that love you because we want you to change. You don't know how much they hate you. Remember how they used to rejoice and enjoy before. Yoruba is fighting Igbo. Oduduwa is fighting Biafra. They love it. They are fighting themselves. Fulani will be enjoying. Today it has turned. Because there is three elements that God decreed that man cannot live without. What I mean by man is also women. You see, food, shelter, and clothing. These are essential needs that every human being will always aspire to have. Do you know what happened to people in the zoo and by extension all across Africa? They know for you to get food, shelter, and clothing, you need money. For you to get money, you need work. And all your focus, all your lives is going to be how to provide for yourself and your family these three essential elements, or should I say ingredients of life. But in Nigeria, you don't have it. You know, sometimes I ask myself, do you see somebody who's pushing truck or pushing wheelbarrow, or a graduate driving keke napep? Some of you have PhD and you're driving keke napep. Some of you are riding Okada to make a living. Are you going to be able to build a house by driving keke napep? Maybe you mold one block a year. And if your child were to grow up and to start driving, you will need to get to the 10th generation in the next maybe 500 years or 500 something years for you to be able to build a house. That time you're long gone. And those after you are long gone too. Now, what I want to say to you is that what they're doing in the zoo is deliberate. And what IPOB is doing, what we in the Biafran movement is doing, is to set all of you free. You may not like the approach, you may not like the style, but it is the truth that we are preaching here, and we will continue to preach it. That is why you have high levels of illiteracy. That all of them, from Atiku to the dead Buhari, to all of them, their children schooled abroad to Saraki, all of them, their children went abroad to study. But they neglected their mates. Their age mates gave birth to bandits that you have today. The murderers and the killers and the terrorists and the rapists you have. Do you see how it's called the irony of life? And that is why we must be free. They see illiteracy, ignorance, and chronic poverty as a tool with which to control the population and manipulate them. That is why Roger Socrates was able to rent his own thugs and help us them are his own thugs. These are hungry people, hungry youths. They have to feed and eat. Why do you think have thuggery and cults and all this rubbish? People are idle, they're not doing anything. And as they say, an idle man is an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Isn't it? You know, we are one of the people that when I read a book, I take something from the book and I practicalize it. But some of you read just for reading's sake, if at all you do. Thank goodness that today, northern so-called minorities, they're not minorities, but anyway, northern minorities are waking up. Hausa people, the Habe Hausas are waking up as well. They own the land of the north. Northern Nigeria today is a land of Habe Hausa people. Not Fulani. Not Fulani, never. Can never ever be. And Hausa people must rise up to take their land back. It may seem impossible, but believe you me, by the time we are rising up everywhere, these murderers and killers and rapists from the vulture-infested foothills of Futajalon will head back from whence they came. You must understand this. How is it that 200 million people cannot effect a change against an oppressive gang of people, 2,000 lunatics, calling themselves politicians? Are they up to 2,000? No, they're not. And they're back up. Let's give them credit. Let's round it up to 20,000 people. 20,000 people oppressing 200 million people. Reminds me of how white people came into Africa with only 20 men and conquered all of us. Look at where we are today. And we allow these 20,000 people every blessed day to be ruining our lives. Why do you think that politicians own newspapers in the zoo? Name one independent publisher you have in Nigeria. They're all financed by politicians because they want to keep you locked down in your ignorance and your perpetual cycle of poverty and deprivation. It's time for these 200 million people to rise against the wicked 20,000. Wicked and evil. These are people at home. They are evil people. Evil. Lunatics. And the funniest thing is, with the help of Britain, they dominate the political space. Ask yourself this question repeatedly until it sinks in into your black skull. Ask, why is it that 200 million people are so docile and imbecilic that 20,000 telling you went to the structure, went not to the structure? Who told you that? A republic means a nation run according to the will or dictates of the public, of the people. That is some of you don't know the meaning of republic. Anyway, you have His Royal Highness in a republic. Oh God, what a contradiction. I am happy that today our own intellectuals are now beginning to see the light, of course. Before they were in darkness, they are now in the light. As we have always said to you, we in IPOB, we are the children of light. We represent light in here. light. Now people are coming from darkness into the light. And why am I saying this? The rate at which Efulefus are repenting these days, so I see them, some of them on social media, some of them are asking me for forgiveness. I'm just happy. You know what they say, when one person repents, there is joy in heaven. All I have inside me is joy that people have now seen that thing that we saw many years ago. The rate at which they're repenting these days, some of them people send me their write-ups, and I'm saying no. They say no, it's him. That intellectual, he has now converted. He now has reason. Or should I say reasoning capacity? The rate at which they are embracing the ideology of IPOB, you would think that rapture is about to happen. Or that maybe that Jesus Christ has landed somewhere and making his way to the zoo called Nigeria. And following behind him is Prophet Muhammad, at the rate at which people are these days converting. We have succeeded in resetting the minds and the brain of your average Nigerian. Everybody, go to the TV and the write-ups, everybody now speaks like IPOB. Everybody, everything they're saying is now what IPOB used to say. This very indigenous people of Biafra, this noble family that never capitulated, they stayed strong, immense. Despite the slaughter after slaughter, they remained. That is why for me, it may sound a bit incestuous, but for me, the only people that I have regard and respect for is IPOB, to be honest with you. The only people I have regard for is IPOB, nobody else. When other people were falling by the wayside, IPOB held on tenaciously and doggedly to this very ideology. That separation is the best solution. People are now beginning to reason properly. And above all, they have now acquired the courage to speak out, and I welcome it. Somebody wrote a very compelling, a former intellectual, he wrote a very compelling article. I couldn't have written it myself. I couldn't have a very good argument, and I want to use it to drive home. Hey, 2 hours are enough now, but I want to preach the gospel of heaven. Because you will see it happening. Gospel of heaven, that's what I preach. You, as of course, most of a very handful of you, as black people, you will always find reason to be black in terms of your stupidity. But here, I don't have time for such. This very former intellectual wrote, United Kingdom, listen carefully, please, you Nigerian. I want to make an average Nigerian appear as stupid as he or she is. I want to use this article written by a former an intellectual before castigating IPOB. He has repented, and I want to read for you what he wrote. To tell you that, as I always said, in the end, we always win. It doesn't matter what you do. We will wear you out in the end. You will see who what will happen to him. In the end, we win. Always we win. Now, listen. United Kingdom, the people that created you, you Nigerians, your creator, God did not create you. Stop. Every Nigerian should stop saying, God is my creator. God did not create you. I can tell you who created you. And at the precise moment when she created you, I will say she, in this case, Flora Shaw. God did not create any Nigerian. The man that created you and the woman, they are both dead. That is why the zoo will die. United Kingdom was formed by the people of United Kingdom, not a foreigner. This intellectual rights. But the same United Kingdom will not allow we black Africans to freely determine our own political future. Are you listening very carefully? Britain was formed by Scotland and England coming together in a meeting, in a sovereign national conference. Let's use that term. In a confab, they came together in a confab. And Scotland and England decided we are now going to be one under these terms. Some of you don't understand the United Kingdom because you call it London, so I forgive your ignorance. Do you know that in Scotland, United Kingdom, which is part of the UK, that they have entirely different judicial system. The Scottish court is called the Scottish Court of Sessions. In England, it's called the High Court or Appeal Court. In Scotland, they have sheriff till tomorrow morning. In England, you have chief constable. Different policing, different legislature. Scotland, they have their own flag. England have their own flag. Wales, they have their own flag. Northern Ireland, they have their own flag. Everybody's on their own. Even the education system is not the same thing. In Scotland, people still go to university for free. In England, you go with a loan. All these things are there. But do you know what I find astonishing? The same United Kingdom will not allow you to have the same thing that they have. Now, ask yourself.
Yeah, my wonderful people, the followers of Okute Daily Talk and my subscribers, also my commentators. I hope when I like this message, because this one is a very clear message and understanding that the Biafra is always moving at the right direction. Please, I will not take much of your time. This is the end of the message. Let me know what you think at the comment section. Through your comments and your likes and sharing will make me to understand that this video is really got where it's supposed to get, because every note and credits of the Biafra land is supposed to have the glimpse of what this video is all about. Not only about your own self, but about the struggle, because without the publication, I think we're supposed to be getting momentum. But if you don't get momentum, or the what is they call it, publicity that it requires, then the international community is not going to look towards our own direction. So like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing to my channel for more interesting videos that's coming your way. I still remain Amandia Neze, reporting live from the platform of Okute Daily Talk. Bye for now, my wonderful people. Please share this message.